Hello, and welcome to the San Antonio Riverwalk boat tour. At night. What makes this video unique is that you're seeing sights at night with everything lit up. Please excuse the footage being shaky and blurry at certain places. It was my first time attempting this in-boat footage, so it was a learning curve. All in all, I got some pretty fun snippets and facts about San Antonio that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy. Shout out to the awesome tour guide. Now, let's go.
Selena Bridge is named after Selena Quintanilla, where back in 1998, Jennifer Lopez shot the movie Selena on this bridge. Also where Jennifer Lopez was staying at the time of that film was here on my left-hand side. This beautiful hotel on my left is called the Omni Mansión, and the building has been here ever since 1826. Well, back in 1826, it was the St. Mary's School for Boys, until they moved it to the west side of town, where it's now St. Mary's University. Two alumni came back in 1960. They bought this building, and they turned it into a hotel, just in time for the 1968 World's Fair, which I'll tell you more about coming up here shortly. Meanwhile, all the way up on my left, you're going to see an optical illusion, what appears to be a freestanding wall. Take a look at this building on my left, all the way up.
That's crazy.
Formerly known as the Nix Hospital. Back in 1921, this hospital was the first hospital to receive central air in the state of Texas. And that's a big deal here because it gets really hot. But this hospital, it just went up for sale about 3 years ago, and it was quickly bought out by the Marriott business. So now this hospital is going to be a Marriott hotel within the next 4 years. But it's nothing far from Asia around here. We're always turning hospitals into hotels, morgues into hotels, churches into malls, and the whole downtown area was the battleground for the Alamo, so I think we'll be alright. These boats are that, it has a whole bunch of bumper all around it. So up here on my right, this pink colored building is called the Old Casino Club. Where back in 1930, this was a privately owned German club. Had nothing to do with casino. Now at the very top, there are apartments, and the two bottom floors is a restaurant. But now, these apartments, they're the cheapest apartments on the river. Said to be about $900 a month for a one-bedroom here.
That's pretty good.
Only thing is, there's about a 40-year wait. Now this area here, this is called River Square, and this is where all the action takes place. You got restaurants on the left and right-hand side. But this restaurant right here on my right in particular, the original, it's the only restaurant open on the river until 2 a.m. Everything else along this Riverwalk closes at 10 o'clock. Boudreaux's is known for their prickly pear margarita and the tableside guac. With the Texas umbrellas is barbecue, and this place on my left, Cafe Olay, they're known for their biggest margaritas. Opened up here in 1946. They were the first restaurant on the river, and they were also the restaurant that started the riverboat tours. Yeah, so you come down here in 1946, and this was the only thing along the Riverwalk for a while, so you could imagine how long the wait was to get inside this place. But instead of having all these people just wait around for their table to be called, they'd send them off on a gondola ride, and by the time we'd bring them back, their table would be ready. Back in 1968, San Antonio was hosting its 250th birthday as a city. And what started off as just a small town fair ended up becoming this huge World's Fair. We had the opportunity to host the World's Fair here in San Antonio, also known as Henness Fair. And the theme was the confluences of civilization, unite in unity. It was also a party to attract tourists and tourism around different countries and different cities. Oh, put a pin on that, but take a look at these two beautiful flower statues right here on my right. These were just put here about 6 months ago. The art piece right here is called Bloom, and those are both made out of recycled bicycle parts. But back to this World's Fair, it was basically like a huge show and tell, and everybody brought something that they had to show off as far as attracting tourists with. And since San Antonio, we were hosting it, we were able to build something. So we made this. That stands 750 feet high. It has a rotating observation deck, and it has a restaurant. The restaurant up there is the Chart House Steakhouse, and the price for getting up the elevator to just the observation deck is the same exact price that y'all paid to get on this boat. Yep, same discount. Now the steps to get up there is about 975 steps to get to the top. And they do this race every 9/11 in honor of the firefighters from that day. And so far, the fastest person that can run up those stairs with all the firefighter equipment on is at 5 minutes. That was back in 2002. To this day, the record has not been broken. But what that man won for going up the stairs that fast in that short amount of time, there was a trip to the hospital. No, just kidding. But if anybody's trying to go to the tower right after this tour, all you got to do is follow the Riverwalk right here to my right for about 10 minutes, and you end up there. And you know that elevator? It hardly ever breaks down anymore. They fixed it. But this statue right in front of us here, this is brand new to the Riverwalk. It's only about 2 months old. It's called the Stargazer. And there's really no significance behind it other than it's made out of volcanic rock from a volcano in Mexico. They're not finished with it yet. They'll be adding a gate around it, a really tall gate, because too many people have been climbing all the way to the top. Apparently it became some type of TikTok challenge. But now we just entered inside the newest extension of the downtown Riverwalk. This is called the Rivercenter extension, and this was all built here in 1988. This is as new as the downtown Riverwalk gets. But coming up here, right in front of us, we have the shops at Rivercenter Mall. And this is your traditional mall. All of the restaurants that you see surrounding it here, they're all a part of the food court area inside the mall. But before this mall was here, the ground that it was built on was considered holy ground. It was considered holy ground because it was built on a church called the St. Joseph's German Catholic Church, which they still left a piece of this church standing till this day, and we're going to pass by it in a short while here, and I'll tell you the history behind this church and why it was so important to San Antonio. Rio boats, they're all completely electric. So there's 16 batteries going straight down the middle, just like your phone. At the end of the night, you plug it into charge, and in the morning, you'll have about a 20-hour charge. So taking a right turn here, right after this bridge, take a look at my right, you notice there's a statue of a man holding a baby. Take a look at my right after this bridge. He's called the Saint Anthony de Padua, and he is the saint of lost items and small children, and he's also who San Antonio is named after. Back in 1968, for the 1968 World's Fair, Portugal was here hosting it with us, side by side, and by the time this 6-month-long party was over, Portugal gave that to us, and we placed it here, which was, at the time, the new extension of the Riverwalk. That building there that you see from a distance is called the Tower of Life. Right now is the best time to take a picture of it. We're going to get a lot closer. I'll tell you the history behind it, but we're going to be too close to get a shot like this. It's called the St. Joseph's German Catholic Church, and that has been there ever since 1868. And that was a big deal here because back in 1868, 90% of San Antonio was German at the time. Yeah. And that church still hosts this service every third Sunday of the month, completely in German. Only about 2 people show up, but they still keep going. That orange squiggly statue right there, that's called the Torch of Friendship. That was given to us by an artist from Mexico in 2002 named Sebastian. The Torch of Friendship is supposed to resemble the friendship between Texas and Mexico. Just saying, even though we're not a part of Mexico anymore, we still stand on good terms. That's actually supposed to be 2 people hugging. Yeah. But after a couple more drinks, you were able to see that better. This entry inside of was built in the 40s by an architect named Robert H.H. Hugman. When he was designing this river, he was going for the Venice type feel. You know how in Venice they have the gondolas as a form of transportation? Well, that was supposed to be the vision down here. It was supposed to be mini Venice. And it kind of even looks like it right here in this area. There's Dirty Nelly's Irish pub right here on my left. Coming up here on my right is another one of our ticket booth locations. This will be the final destination. Location actually for that. But coming up here on my left, this hotel is very different and it's very unique. This one's called the Hilton Palacio del Rio. And what's really unique about it is that the first 4 floors, along with this middle section here, it was all built here on Riverside level. And the rest of the hotel was built 7 miles south. Yeah, they went to that modular construction. So what they did was they molded all these rooms into squares, put the insulation in, paint on the walls, fully furnished, ready to go, sent them off on flatbed trucks, brought them to the downtown area, and they craned each and every one of these rooms on top of each other, stacking them just like Legos. That's why it looks like this. Well, this whole entire hotel was completed in 202 working days, and it even made it inside the Guinness World Records for the fastest hotel built for its size. It was built here in 1968, and it was completed in only 7 months. Right in front of us here, we've got the Cloud House, which is your beer garden along the Riverwalk playing live music until 2 a.m. tonight. Right next to it there is basically the same thing, just with a different name. But now what we're about to enter into is the only open-air theater along the river. What we just entered into right now is called the Arneson River Theatre. On my left-hand side here, where you see all the steps, it seats about 200 people. And on my right, the stage may look a little bit familiar. That's because it came on that movie, Miss Congeniality, where Sandra Bullock shot the world peace speech. And the 5 bells that you see at the top of that stage, they represent the 5 missions that we have here in San Antonio. The one in the middle representing the Alamo, the only mission that we have in the downtown area. All the rest of them, they're on the south side of town. Drifting dying boat. Coming up here on my right is the Briscoe Western Art Museum. The Briscoe's been here ever since 2013, but before that, in 1920, this was San Antonio's first downtown public library. And it was said to be the tallest around that time because of all the stories. But this bridge that we're about to go under is one of the lowest bridges here along the Riverwalk. This is a very rare, lenticular design truss bridge. Now, this bridge, it was given to us as a gift all the way from Berlin. Yeah, that was Berlin, Connecticut. Completely in pieces, it was all bolted together, and there was no welding necessary for this bridge. It was completely bolted. I know, you're so traumatized. But coming up here on my right, you notice this little island here. This island, it's called Marriage Island. That's called Marriage Island because the roots from this tree is shaped as a heart. And it holds over 300 weddings a year and 4 to 5 proposals a day. Yeah, I know, I didn't believe it either until I started driving the boat. And now I see it happen all the time, every single day. island, we have this island here on my right. This one's called Divorce Island. No, I'm just kidding. But the hotel right behind it, it's called the Westin Hotel. And that's special to us because it's sponsored by the NBA. So anytime the Spurs are playing here at the AT&T Center, their opponent team is going to be staying here at the first top 2 floors. But this building right here on my left is a very popular building here in San Antonio. This one's the one you saw earlier from a distance. It's called the Tower of Life. That is an 8-sided, neo-style, Gothic design, octagon-shaped structured building. Take a look on the second floor. Do you see those heads? Those gargoyles? Those evil, scary-looking heads were put there in 1928 by the original owners Smith and Young to wear off evil spirits in that business. But just after having been up and running for about 3 months, 1929 came, the stock market crashed, and they lost everything. This whole entire building was sold for just pennies on the dollar. And now it's law offices. When you look back at it from this angle, that it looks like a huge ship. Can you see that? Coming up here on my right, you notice this little tunnel here. This tunnel leads to our marina. That's one of 2 of our marinas. That's where we park our boats at the end of the night. The green light right here is telling me that the floodgate is working. There's a floodgate right underneath the water, and it pulls up just like the back of a truck hatch. And it cuts off the water from getting any higher than these silver marks that you'll see on the left and the right-hand side here. Out of 4 feet deep water, we now just entered inside 20 feet deep water. Yeah, this is 20 feet deep. This is called the main channel, and this is the original flow of the river. If we continue going straight, we'll end up to Incarnate Word University, where the Blue Hole is, also where the Edwards Aquifer meets. Yeah, the San Antonio River, this river, it's where we get the drinking water from. As we continue going back down south, behind me, we'll end up to the Guadalupe River, eventually into the Gulf of Mexico. That's how far this river goes. It's called the San Antonio River. So coming up here on my right, the Jewelry Plaza Hotel opened up here in 1998. But before that, in 1901, this was San Antonio's first downtown bank. It was called the Alamo National Bank. And the Jewelry Plaza Hotel kept the lobby exactly how it was in the 1900s. Coming up here on my right, you notice this tiki bar. It's the only tiki bar along the Riverwalk, called Hugman's Oasis. They just opened up about 6 months ago. They're going to be open tonight until 11 p.m. Now this bridge that we're about to go under, or this floodgate that we're about to go under, is the guillotine style floodgate. So this floodgate drops down and it cuts off the water. We use this anytime we have any heavy rain or when they're cleaning out this river, which is every 5 years. The last time they cleaned out this river was just 3 months ago. But they also test this one out every 5 minutes randomly, so we better hurry up. Okay. Now we're back inside 4 feet deep water. We're back inside the main attraction of the Riverwalk, and we're back inside where all the restaurants are. Straight ahead here, right after this bridge on the right, is where I picked you up. This place that they're building right here on my right, when they're finished with it, these are going to be the most expensive condominiums along the Riverwalk. Well, now, that's going to conclude the tour for today. Please remain seated as I get this boat tied down. As soon as I open up these doors on my right hand side, that means it's good for you to get up and head out. It's down here in San Antonio. Take care, stay safe, enjoy yourself tonight, and thank you so much.
That was awesome. There's the boat. Well, that was a fun experience. I recommend the boat tours if you're ever here. It's like 30 to 45 minutes. It'll be a good time. There it is. Right on it. For this boat tour company, you can get tickets on site or online and then line up at the queue. Walking around the Riverwalk is a great experience at any time of the day or night, so if you're ever in San Antonio, check it out. That concludes this video, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next week.